You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, Geek.Nerd.Tech, featuring a weekly roundup of tech news and gossip. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, Geek.Nerd.Tech.
Welcome. I took a drink of my coffee as we're starting the show. That makes sense. Welcome to Geek.Nerd.Tech, the show we break down nerd culture, geek. How's it go, Keely?
Nerd culture and geek.
No.
I know nerd and geek culture from a black perspective.
Since we wrote this, we're doing this. Like, this is show like number 48,000 for us. Welcome to Geek.Nerd.Tech. I'm Joe Braswell. As always, I'm joined by my man Achilles Shine. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, my man.
Good.
Still waking up. What about you?
I'm good. I feel great. You're a customer. Time keep on slipping.
I thought you was gonna come in with the 16.
16. Yo.
No.
Yo. No. I'm not let it ride. Let it ride. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Alexis, I'm kidding, Alexis. How you doing, Alexis?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just
And
messing
today's
around.
show, the art of the 16.
The art of the 16 bars. No, we'll start our show. We all are customers because we're gonna talk a lot about Apple, because Apple had their big earth-shaking debut, which seems to just dominate the news cycle like crazy. It just dominates all everything, and even searching for stories in this. We were having a hard time finding some stories because everything was just Apple. So we decided to really dive into that because we must get there.
For sure.
Obviously, Apple has announced their new line of stuff. They're the new operating systems and everything else. But more importantly, their new products, most notably the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Both larger screens, one an extra large screen, one an extra large screen. They also debuted the Apple Watch. And some other stuff. What do you think of this stuff, Akili?
Yeah,
Did you watch Keynote?
Of course.
Okay.
I watched Keynote, and I was fairly disappointed with the presentation of the Keynote because it was going in and out. It had a lot of technical difficulties, and for a company like Apple, you would expect that to never happen, especially for a huge launch.
Yes.
So I was a little disappointed with that because I'll be watching it, and I'll be invested, and it just shut off. And then there was like an overdub of like Chinese translation over Tim Cook, so I couldn't really understand everything.
Yeah.
But aside from that,
What about my man with the purple shawl? Is that dude?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Aside from that, man, I mean, I was definitely like invested into the new products that they were communicating. But I think it's what they call the reality distortion field. Like, it's like really getting caught up in the hype. Like, they really do a great job building the hype and bringing you in. Like, it's like a show.
Right.
And I mean, it's entertaining just to see how they unveil everything.
Right.
But aside from that, like, I think the technology is going to be really dope.
Well, what about the products themselves? I love the way the reality distortion field is something that was attributed to Steve Jobs and how he was so engrossing as a human being, and he'd come in here and razzle dazzle you, and everyone who was around him would start to believe whatever he's saying, even though it wasn't
Jedi mind
realistic.
tricks.
Yeah. So that the reality distortion field continues because the whole world stops when Apple drops something. So what do you think of the actual products?
I mean, we could start with the 6. Like, I think the 6 is dope. New camera, new processor. Like, I love the integration of the fitness stuff or the health tracking stuff. I think they have I think it's called the M8 co-motion processor, where pretty much it's the technology that will tell you if you're elevating yourself, if you're walking on stairs. It tells you all that. That's how it tracks your health.
Right. In other words, the motion tracker, because before the old trackers would track people via GPS,
right.
be able to tell where you are depending on what your service is like. But now they've added something to the motion itself to get you to be able to track if you're on stairs, if you're on mountains or hills, and that's good stuff.
Still got the Touch ID, and now with the NFC stuff, you'll be able to use the Apple Pay. And I think that's going to be cool too. We discussed that last week. Yeah. But yeah, like I'm just interested in seeing just the new operating system, how what the new add-ons are for that. I think the camera's going to be dope. I think the whole video thing where you're able to shoot 120 frames per second.
Yes.
I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, what about you as it relates to the 6?
I love it. I mean, obviously, I'm an Apple apologist, but I love it. I love the idea that people are the Samsung people love the big giant screens. I'm for one, I'm not a fan of the huge screen. You'll never see me with the big 5.5, which we'll talk about in a second.
So you won't get the Plus?
No, I never, because it's just I have an iPad Mini already. I don't need like a mini
for sure.
Like it's just I don't know.
It's
I
overkill.
don't need it. Now if I didn't have an iPad, and that was my choice to watch, I don't know. It's just not. I never really saw the need for it because I don't consume my media normally on my phones.
Right.
But if I do, I like the idea of a bigger screen. I don't need a giant screen.
For sure.
Anyway, but the 6 is great. I'm always interested to see what they do from an OS standpoint. They're always coming out with really cool stuff for the new OSs. So I like to see all the new bells and whistles on that. Can't wait to get my hands on that. I do love the slightly bigger screen, the thinner look. I'll be interested to see really what the case situation is like, because that's always the biggest thing, right? Like, and props to Apple. Apple does Apple keeps an entire industry of accessories going. I mean, as we saw it at CES, like half of the whole call was just accessories for smartphones and for Apple products. So now that they have these 2 new models, I mean, I can imagine all the crazy cases that are going to come out for these. But anyway, I'm very interested to see that stuff. I do love the camera is a big one, because people, one of our guys we work with, cameraman Manuel, is a Samsung guy, and he just swears the camera, bro. The camera. So now Apple is finally getting something that maybe compares to what some of these other products say. And you're saying no.
Maybe. We'll see. I mean, I think you have to do, a side-by-side comparison with, a photo that's shot from an iPhone 6 and a photo shot from the newest Samsung. I mean, because I think the current Samsung is 16 megapixels. This one's only 8. Right. But megapixels really doesn't determine, what you see on the screen. It's more so for print. But, I mean, they both have the technology that kind of like, what am I trying to say? It imitates like a DSLR. Sure. But I think the Samsung still might have Apple beat with the camera. We'll see though.
With the camera, I mean, and from a photography standpoint, which is one thing, but the shooting HD video, I feel like in your pocket has gotten, this really takes it to a whole new level.
Samsung's 4K on your phone.
All right, well, do you work for Samsung? All I hear is Samsung. No, I'm kidding. No, I agree. So what about the 6 Plus?
6 Plus, I'm kind of like you, man. Like, I already have an iPad. I mean, I like the fact that you could do the landscape mode now on the phone. I mean, that could be cool. But aside from that, like, I don't see myself personally buying the Plus. Like, I don't see the markup that much of a jump from the 6 to the 6 Plus. So I guess I have to put it in my hand and see like which one feels the best, and then decide from there.
Right. But I haven't really. I mean, again, this is a situation where you don't know the applications, because having a 5.5-inch screen allows developers and app developers to come up with a bunch of new apps and things that we haven't thought of. Be able to use it in landscape is something that aside from games or watching media, I never use my phone or iPad in landscape. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of cool things developed that we can use for landscape, and but other than that, yeah, we beat it. I don't need it. So people love it. So good for them. They can have a big ass.
I think
thing to their phone.
The difference also from the 6 and the 6 Plus with the cameras that the 6 Plus has like a stabilizer. So like if you have shaky hands or whatever, you're trying to record something and you get bumped, like it adjusts for that much better than all the previous other older models of iPhones. So.
Well, let's move on to the next, because there's an article talking specifically about the 6 Plus versus the Galaxy 4 Note and the LG G3. So it's kind of like. I don't know if it's one of the. I think it's the next slide. Oh no, we're wrong. Anyway, yeah, we're good. We're good here. Sorry. So just comparing to like the comparison for the 3 big giant phones, which are calling phablets.
Terrible.
Ablets, like phone and tablets. Phablets.
It's terrible.
It's the worst thing I've ever heard. But so the 6 has the 5.5 screen. The Galaxy still has the 5. Oh yeah, I agree. Thank you. The 5.5-inch screen on the 6, the 5.7-inch screen on the Galaxy Note, so you still have it there. The pixel density still, the Galaxy still got Apple on that. I mean, it looks like looking at these.
Samsung makes better phones, bro.
I mean, I'm looking at all these stats side by side.
On paper, they make better phones.
I mean, you're right. 8 megapixel camera versus the 16 megapixel camera, 4K video. On the Samsung. So, I mean,
aside for the brand, like what is better, like on paper, than the Samsung joint? Nothing.
No RAM available on this. You have 3 gigs of RAM available on the other 2 phones. I mean, extra storage. You could upgrade up to.
You could take out the battery.
Yeah, you can take out the battery, removable. I mean, I get it. None of them are waterproof. So yeah, I don't know. Like the Samsung does, and I'm not looking at side by side.
And then look at the price point. Look at the price point.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Well, maybe I will get a Samsung. No, look, I will say though, the Galaxy Note is a great product. It's an outstanding product.
Wow,
it is. No, I'm not mad at the product.
Wow. You gave Samsung like a compliment?
It's a great product. I have a Samsung television. I'm a Samsung guy for TVs.
Okay.
And I have a Samsung TV and a Blu-ray player.
Okay.
So I'm a Samsung guy, but
not for the mobile.
Not for the mobile.
Gotcha.
I will say on a side note though, on the TV, you can it has all this cool stuff that you can interface with your phone.
That's dope.
And so when I'm going through the TV,
you're like
yeah, because I got a new Samsung and I was like looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I can't. Apple.
Right.
That was the only time I wish I had a Samsung phone. But
that's cool.
Anyway, what do you any? I mean, we're talking the same thing, but like anything to add on that?
Oh no. I mean, like I think on paper Samsung's better, but I think we're both invested in the Apple brand. We have majority Apple products, like so. I think we're kind of like sold on that team, but.
Well, so we're sold on everything, but how do we feel about the Apple Watch? Now that's something that is that's yet to be debated, and I don't know what to make of this thing. So what do you think?
I mean, I think that it's cool. Like, I think it's gimmicky, but it's cool. They're coming out with three models: the Apple Watch, the Sport, and the Edition. The Edition is gold. The Sport is more durable. Obviously, if you're exercising in the watch, the regular Edition is just just for wearables, whatever. It's nothing special about it compared to the other ones. I think that it's not revolutionary. I think what they're trying to do with wearables is not revolutionary. I think it's just an add-on. I think it's just going to bring more attention to wearables. That's what I'm trying to say. Right. Apple will bring more attention to wearables. I think that people will buy it, but I don't think that it's that much different than having a phone. Like it's an accessory to your phone. Like, I don't see it, doing anything different than your smartphone.
That's a knock, and everyone's sort of saying like, we haven't got to the point where wearables, especially wrist wearables, can do anything that a handheld device can't do. So you're really talking about a jump from something that you're holding in your hand to something like here's my phone, here's my watch, phone, watch, like. What am I, what's the jump here? Or, so I don't, that's the thing. And then no one ever is going to replace their phone with their watch.
Never.
I mean, I guess the theory.
Maybe.
I mean, Samsung was banking on this, but like maybe there is something that says we will, be in this era where the Dick Tracy, where we're receiving calls on our phone, we're texting from our phone, we're doing anything from our watch. Maybe that's the way, but I don't know that it will replace what's going on with my phone.
I agree with you. And to think the price point for this thing is like over $300. It's more than a phone with a plan.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a huge cost.
Yeah.
It's just for it to do exactly what your phone does, and then you need your phone to kind of like do certain things with it, like by you. So.
I mean, unless you just had an iPad and a watch and just threw your phone out.
Maybe.
I don't know. So the jury's still out on that. I don't think and the price point is still too high for it to be an accessory item. It's not like you can just pick one up because it's still, $300. So I don't know.
Question for you though.
Yeah.
Do you think that, Apple's choice to venture into this market of watches will have a degradation of other watch brands? Do you think that people will be like, I'm not going to buy, a regular watch. I'm just going to buy an Apple Watch. Do you think that'll affect other brands?
I don't because we've seen this before. We saw this in the 70s with the calculator watch, I remember like in the early 80s. I mean, I remember this stuff, but there was the calculator watch was hot, and then in the 90s they had the pager watch. I had one of those too. I had them all. The pager watch,
But you didn't have a smartphone either in those decades.
Right.
Your watch wasn't a smartphone. So
right.
like what do you have a watch for?
Yeah.
Other than style.
Well, this is all, yeah, like my watch is super fly if you can see it. But no, but I'll take this over the iWatch any day.
You would.
But see, I would. I don't like, to answer your question, I don't think that they replace. This is the issue. Like, it's hard to say these tech watches will replace the other watches because you're wearing the watch at the end of the day is really jewelry.
Yes.
And so so this is technology. So they're two separate things. So unless you can figure out a way to have, the style becomes to have the tech on the right arm and the watch on the left.
But I think that's the thing. That's why they're making it customizable so that you can make it, towards your taste. Like you can switch up the band or whatever. You can have like the gold joint. Like,
yeah.
I mean, do you look at your watch for time? Or do you look at your phone?
And I look at my watch.
Wow.
I'm old.
Okay.
So like I have old habits.
So if I say, Joe, what time it is, you're gonna be like, versus.
I do.
Okay.
I do it all the time because I even when I don't have a watch on, I look at my skin 30.
So you would drop
old Joe.
You would drop $350 for a new watch versus the Apple Watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, easily. Like in some cases more.
Wow.
I mean, because I'm rich. No. Because that's funny.
I can't.
Okay, so anyway, so the Apple Watch, we kind of agree that is not. I don't know. It's not. We're not really cool on that. Wait, real quick, Alexis, do you like these products? I can't remember if you're an Apple girl or not.
No, I'm a Samsung girl.
All right, never mind. Next question. Next topic.
Ouch.
No, I was just kidding. So I want to talk about the other big news was that U2. I know.
Sorry.
U2 did their big album release. With Apple, and there's a lot to be talked about here. Now, I don't know. Oh no, not the crickets.
Excellent drop.
Okay,
Excellent drop.
I want to defend. First of all, I'm a U2 apologist because U2 is also. I love U2. I've seen them in concert multiple times. I'm not gonna lie. I love U2. I love the band. And I'm very, very excited for the new album. I'm very excited for it. And I think it's also very cool. So just so for those who don't know, U2 is part of the Apple event was able to release their 11-track album, full album, to all 500 million iTunes subscribers at once. So everyone got it for free. So that was sort of a big thing.
The largest album release of all time.
Yes, which makes it the largest album release of all time because instantly 500 million people got it. So it went, quintuple platinum on the first day, which is
7% of the planet got the album.
Yeah, which never happened. So that's something. And frankly, U2 is categorically like not even arguably
iTunes.
U2 is
I thought you said YouTube.
No, U2. U2 is the biggest band in the world. They are.
Right.
So they can do this. And so that's all fine and that's all great. The question is, there's a couple of things. From a marketing standpoint, was this a success or a fail? That's one of the first debates here. The first debate is it was kind of a fail, a lot of people are saying, because this is an obvious answer to the Jay-Z Samsung situation, which was very cool. And the difference is that Jay-Z and Samsung, it was more of a secret thing. And then it just kind of dropped. They had some little promo, like, leading up to it. Then it dropped.
And the difference is it wasn't automatically, delivered to your
like
device.
it or not. Yeah.
Like you could choose to get it.
Right.
Versus this, like it's on my phone.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Everyone needs. What's that?
No, I was upset too because I looked at my phone, at my iTunes, and I'm like, "What is this?"
It's
Why is it
U2.
there?
It's a beautiful music of U2.
Let me choose.
I would like to choose
Yeah.
to buy it. I mean, my first concert was a U2 concert, which was awesome, but I don't know. Takes up space.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with Alexa. Let me choose because I may not want, like you said, that space
That's
to be
true.
taken
I never
by
thought about
something
the
else.
space thing. I never thought, it's like I got infinite gigabytes. that's my new. Never mind.
I mean, I think this is sad in the sense that, well, I think I have 2 points. I think it's sad for retailers that are still selling albums because they don't have a chance now to make profit off of this album.
Right.
I think it's good because it's bringing notoriety or bringing awareness back to iTunes as a source for buying music, and maybe that'll spread across for other artists. I think it's super good for YouTube because people are gonna be like, oh, YouTube. This dope album, let me buy their previous albums, their back catalog.
Sure.
And so that's how they're making money off of it. Aside from they're saying they got paid maybe 30 maybe 10, 30 million for
Yeah,
this.
Apple paid them. Well,
That's
don't
crazy.
act like they give this
Of course,
issue away
of
for
course,
free.
of course.
Apple bought the album.
Yeah.
And bought. They got a slight discount in terms of like they didn't buy 500 million copies of the album.
Right.
But they'll pay you $30 million,
which is more than you would ever make off a release.
Exactly.
In album sales.
And we all know, artists don't make money off of album sales these days anyway. They make money off tours, especially U2.
And performance royalties.
Yeah, I mean performance royalties and tours, and U2's tours gross in the
millions,
in the hundreds of millions. So like
And I think this is cool to begin to look at bands not as bands, but as corporations.
Sure.
U2 is a corporation.
Oh yeah. At this
And
point,
Apple did business with another corporation, a brand collaboration at the highest level of music I think we've ever seen.
every time U2 drops an album, everything around that album usually generates, we're talking about almost close to $500 million.
That's an industry.
Yeah, we're going to drop an album, and then everything that radiates from that album is going to generate like $400 million plus. So I mean that's a lot.
Let me throw this at you. So what do you? So clearly we see the win-win for U2. What's the win-win for Apple by doing this?
Well, the win-win for Apple is easy. Apple's always wanted to associate themselves, and this is a long history going back to Steve Jobs, wanting to associate themselves with creatives. So Apple is always putting themselves in line with creatives, whereas IBM and Microsoft put themselves in line with business. So this is just a long line of like Steve Jobs. I remember when he from one keynote, called in Dr. Dre, and they're bringing out the Beatles. They're always trying to figure out a way to align themselves with not just any creatives, but like the elite creatives.
Right.
So what you do is you scan the universe for the biggest band in the world, and you plug them up, and it's U2.
Yeah.
Now Samsung did it different. They scanned away from the biggest entertainer in the world, biggest rapper,
right,
or biggest sort of entertainer cultural icon, which is like right now, which is Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So that was a good move on Samsung's part. But one thing I will say, it's kind of a weird thing for U2. Why it's sort of a fail for U2 from a marketing standpoint, in my opinion, is
you said a fail for them.
There's a slight fail for them in just in a marketing release. Obviously, it's not a fail for them, but and this has been written about too. Jay-Z was just cool because it was centered around Jay-Z, and then Samsung was like the footnote, right? It was like Jay-Z's got this album, Jay-Z's got this product.
You're saying that U2 is absorbed by Apple?
Yes, because it's Apple's like, check out our new iPhone 6, our iPhone 6 Plus. We got the iPhone Watch. We're Apple. Oh yeah, U2's got a new album coming out. like wait, what? Like U2's a footnote? Like they're U2. They don't need to be a footnote.
But I think their core fans don't care about that. Their core fans are like, cool, I don't got to spend $10, $15 on the album. I get it for free, and I love to see the new Apple stuff too.
Yeah.
I think this is for the guys and gals that don't know about U2. Yeah. Like
True.
to expand their market reach, to expand their consumer base.
Yeah, I will say I am a little surprised by the. We spent a lot of time on this too, but I'm a little surprised by the backlash, like by people like you and Alexis that were like, I don't want this in my phone. Like, I mean, really, delete it. I mean, I don't know. It's not like it's embedded.
Album, if they could do that with the album, who knows what they could do that with?
Oh Lord, here we go.
Seriously,
they already got your fingerprint. What's next?
You going down, bro? You going down?
Okay, I got it. All right. So anyway, so that happened, and that was the U2 thing. So so that's Apple. We've covered. Anything else about Apple before we move on?
Yeah, man.
Anything else?
2 weeks, a week and a half, ready to get my new phone, man.
You gonna do it?
Oh yeah.
I think I'm gonna do it too, actually. Because I'm on the S cycle, right? So usually my plan. So I have the 5S. Mm-hmm. So when the 6 drops, I'm just like, but now I don't know. I might have to have to cop it because it's so fresh. I don't know if I can wait for the 6S like to come out.
You're waiting for a year.
I can't do it. So I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, I guess 2 weeks. We'll both be rocking the big giant phones
for sure.
All right. So let's move on to some tech news. Net neutrality is always in the news and talking about it. And there was a weird, well, I don't call it weird, but there's a situation where they had an overall net movement called "Slow Down for the Cause." You hear about this? You know about this? Yeah. So it was a thing where like all your favorite sites will sort of slow down. They call it like a internet slowdown day,
right?
Which is a sort of a day to sort of like Now, they actually didn't really slow down the internet,
Right.
but it's just a thing to sort of like, they're trying to
galvanize attention around this issue of net neutrality.
Sure.
What's possible? What if it passes? What is possible?
Right.
What could happen to you as a consumer? Like if it passes, like you'll be able to hop on Netflix and it'll be slow as heck.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, what's going on? Well, you don't have Comcast.
Right. And again, the whole thing of net neutrality is just this giant court case, and it's been going on against, do these these giant conglomerate providers, Time Warner, Comcast, others, do they have the right to pick and choose what your internet speed should be based on what the content is in net? In other words, the argument is that the internet should be neutral and should be for everyone.
Yeah.
And my speed in which I receive certain products shouldn't be dictated by Comcast or Time Warner or whoever.
For sure.
Now, right now, that's not what they're fighting for, because obviously they're kind of they do it now because I have Uverse, and you can get, there's like 15 tiers of internet.
Right.
You want slow, super fast,
right.
hyper fast,
Right.
so they can charge you all the way up. But the idea of that, you're downloading, if Netflix is has some content that Time Warner doesn't like, then Time Warner limits how fast you can get your Netflix content, and you're trying to watch Orange is the New Black, and it's coming in slow as heck.
Or it's not loading.
Or it's not loading. It takes forever to load. Like, that's not right. And that's something that I don't care what any of the conglomerates say won't happen, is something that will happen. So
I think it's looking at it like a highway versus a one-lane street. As of right now, what people are saying, it should be a one-lane street. The speed, it should be the same for everyone. Like a public utility, the same price for everything. Water's the same price no matter where you live.
Right.
Versus what these cable companies are saying, hey, here's a slow lane, here's a fast lane. You choose which one you want. And now that affects the consumer, because Netflix chose the slow lane.
Right.
Now that affects everyone. It's like a ripple down effect. And I think that's where you're going to have problems. Like, how do you differentiate that from each company or a startup company that doesn't have the Netflix budget? How do they get the fast speed?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
they can't. So like that's it's like they said, the water's a good example. No one says like, hey, you want hot water? That's extra. Cold water is free. Hot water, let it cost you a little bit of money. So yeah, I think that there's
terrible.
it's real. I mean, this is the internet is for everyone. That's what's created. It's sort of based on that, and I don't know. So we'll see how this thing plays out. But
Trying to rape us, man.
Slow down, man. Look, the money is very serious. So slow down day is a big thing. So I don't know. We should all be aware of that, and really sort of we should be paying attention to this stuff, because people who don't pay attention to to politics or voting or things like that are
It's
like
gonna catch up to them. They're like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, these are things why you shouldn't have to go on a separate politics rant, but this is why you should pay attention to sort of politics and laws that are being passed, because stuff's just happening.
Yeah.
It's just happening. Like, what happened to my internet? Well, you didn't vote for it. So now it's, Anyway, this is a court case, but that's separate, same thing. Next, we've been talking a lot about 3D printers. Back at CES, we saw a lot of 3D printer possibilities and different things. I think that may be butter. I don't know what that is. No, but we saw a lot of edible 3D printers and stuff. But this is a story about 3D printed books for the blind, which it's like one of those moments like, oh, of course. It just goes to show you there's so many different applications for 3D printing that we never even think about. And this is really interesting.
Yeah, the Tactile Books project. Essentially, they're integrating 3D printing with the book. So like they'll take a 2D image and turn it into a 3D image through 3D printing, and then someone that's blind or has an impaired vision is able to experience the book in a more interesting way, in a way that will, I guess, get more education to them. And so I think that's cool in the sense that it's going to propel more of a sense of knowledge to people that maybe didn't have access to stuff because of the limitations of 2D with the standard book. So I think this is dope because it's applying the technology and helping out youth, kids, or even adults that have impairment to be able to have more access to information. It's fantastic. I think it's a fantastic thing, and I think that again, there's so many applications to 3D printing that we haven't thought of, and I think this is very cool and a very cool story. So we'll keep an eye on that. Another thing that's really interesting that's been in the news a lot is the use of social media in some of these emerging companies and countries and warring countries, and particularly what's going on with the Israeli-Palestine conflict, and just how social media plays such a huge part in being able to not only show what's going on, but also to be able to reach
supporters,
Yeah.
to be able to use propaganda, to be able to talk about. I mean, I don't say propaganda, but like war is very serious, and war is always horrible, and there's always lots of deaths, and it's very interesting how the psychology of how you get people involved and angry and want to fight has to do with a lot of like back from just as far as back as war, getting people idealized.
I think, but that is propaganda, though.
Right. So
You weaponize ideas.
Exactly. You weaponize ideas, so you get to people and get them riled up enough to say, F this, I want to fight somebody about it. And this is just as old as war itself, right? As old as media itself. But now we're in a new age where you can use social media to really get people riled up. And this is kind of an interesting and scary thing, because whereas people were either apathetic or not wanting to fight or not knowing how to fight or whatever, not knowing, this is a way for people to get young folks really involved in the cause, to the point where like, I want to go fight somebody now.
Right.
I don't know what it's,
I think it's the same as major media companies. Now the people have more power.
Right.
They're able to do it themselves. Like I think it can go in a great direction and go in a bad direction. Like
Right.
you can galvanize people to thwart out things that are discriminatory or things that are unfair. But it could also galvanize people to fight for a cause that's unjust,
Right.
like, or a cause that's based in evil. But I think with this story, like with I mean, just taking the politics out of like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, I think that like just in terms of the information being funneled to the people, I think that's a good thing.
sure.
For both sides, they want to know from their perspective, what kind of like what the direction is. Some of it might be propaganda, some of it might be lies, some of it might be truth. But it just shows the power of the tool.
Right.
And I think that's what this story's about.
Well, it's about the power of the tool, but it's also what's interesting to me is like, because of that power of the power of that tool, it causes the leadership and the powers that be to want to figure out how to like in China and some other South Korea, another one in North Korea, like everyone can't have this, because everyone can't be talking to each other about how bad we are.
I was going to bring that up.
I want to lead, you can only talk about this.
Absolutely.
Like, unless you're saying good stuff, then you can use it all day long.
Of course. In China, like went over there a couple years ago, and no Facebook.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think that you can hop on your phone or your tablet and you can't even get it. It won't come up. And other sites like. But I mean, that's crazy that they can shut off that communication that could, funnel change.
Yeah, and because it's really about galvanizing the people. So one quick thing, there's also all these other stories that are interesting about some of these terror groups like ISIS and some other folks that are using social media to recruit Westerners a lot. And there's this really crazy story I saw about some of these groups using like westernized things like hip hop, to galvanize young people, particularly young brown people, to sort of come and fight for the cause. It'd be sort of anti-American thing, like what's America done for you? You're poor, you're this. Come with us, we're a family. Like, but in a rap with some like Young Jeezy sounding dude, like on there, and it went something like this. No, I'm not gonna spit those bars. No, but it was very interesting to see, and that was all through again like. Vine and YouTube, and it's really interesting to see that some of these terror groups are using this to recruit, and it's really actually kind of scary, because it's working. I don't know.
mean, I think you find that with anything. You find a lot of corporations using hip hop to recruit or to advertise to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the same across the board. I don't see it as something new.
I mean, your boy Nelly just sold me some Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Hammer sold me some Taco Bell back in the day. All right. Remember he parachuted off the Taco Bell in his pants? Parachute is the worst commercial of all time. All right.
Hey, but it left the imprint.
It did. I don't know what's worth, the Taco Bell itself or the Hammer pants. I don't know. All right, so let's move on from this. That's interesting. To science, there's a thing in the Atlantic that I loved about how close we are to getting, to speed of 3D printing, to actually building a really full-blown organic heart from scratch. Now, this is something out of science fiction, out of a Philip K. Dick novel or something. But I mean, we're really close to sort of having the technology and the tissue to, I mean, we're talking about a whole, fully working human heart. I mean, I don't think, you know, and so that's, I don't think that's the actual picture, but,
Right.
I mean, we're really close to this.
Yeah, I mean, this topic is about organ transplantation, where they'll take synthesized and, you know, organic material and make something new. But I think the thing with this technology is that when you put an organ into a human body, like the human body is going to reject it.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out how to have that organ sustain itself for a longer period of time. And the first one was done 35 years ago, and the guy, I think he lived for a few days.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to expand it so, you know, people could live for years, obviously. So what they do is they decellularize the organ so that essentially the cells that would be rejected by the host or the body are gone, and so they put in this heart that doesn't have anything that's conflictual with the body, and then it's able to sustain itself. That's the technology. So,
I mean, it's remarkable. Having just anything foreign in your body, I mean, it's scary anyway, because obviously your body doesn't want any foreign things in it, so it fights to sort of shut that thing down, whatever it is, or absorb it within your body. So, like, and your heart is your most vital organ.
Yeah.
So it's really that's something that's really scary. But if they can figure this out, it just doesn't seem like, I don't know how. I mean, I don't know anything about how this would work. I mean, I'm no scientist or surgeon, but yeah, like the idea that your heart, I mean, how long does that last? I mean, at some point you would think your body's going to either want to get this thing out of there or assimilate to it, but then, I don't know, it's just I don't know.
It's just like, you know, scientists, biologists trying to figure out the cheat code, man, with all these things. Like,
cheat code.
Some things just, you just can't mess with. Like, the body knows what it's supposed to do naturally, you know what I'm saying? And I think we're always trying to figure out how to, you know, get past that. Like, how can we control that? I mean, but I think this is for a good cause, in the sense that, you know, if someone has a heart attack or someone needs a new heart, like, of course you want them to live, but not where you're turning people into Frankenstein. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And speaking of which, this is another story I agree that was in Forbes, talking about sort of like where the future of medicine is, and sort of like digital medicine, and sort of like, you know, what's happening, like where things are going in a connected world. And there's some really interesting things talking about, you know, how we'll be able to monitor our kids in a world of, like, we can completely monitor if they're sick or healthy, or what they're doing, where they're at, and on your smartphone. And, you know, like, you know, as well as the other, you know, with the elderly, be able to monitor, you know, what's going on with your mother or grandmother, whether they're living with you or you're there in a home, or you can monitor yourself. So I don't know. This is a really interesting article about what's in store, but it's also, again, very, I don't know if it's scary or hopeful. I don't know how did you take this?
I mean, I took it as hopeful. I mean, because we are in the age of the Internet of Things, where, you know, trackers, devices, wearables will be a part of, you know, our existence. And so, you know, these tracking devices will be able to provide quantitative and qualitative data for us. And so I think right now we're more so in the quantitative, like, it's just getting numbers, getting information, but something that can also tell your quality of life, your state, your mood, and like, hey, you need to make these adjustments. Like, you need to go take a walk so that you can have these endorphins pump through your body and make you level out. Like, devices that will provide that information. Like, I think that's cool, especially for the elderly, because we want our parents to live. And I mean, with the day-to-day, you know, busy work, it's kind of hard to be so hands-on, and you don't want to throw them in a nursing home. But if you can have these devices, the technology that's providing you information to direct your choices, or their choices, I think that's cool.
I agree. So we'll see. I mean, like, you know, I'm always.
What's the reservation?
I just get scared. I get scared that I go. You know, I watched way too many. I read way too many Philip K. Dick novels. Way too many sci-fi movies. And anytime you get to a place of hyperconnectivity and too much hyperconnectivity mixed with AI, mixed with, you know, sort of less human interaction, you get Skynet. You get the Matrix, and next thing you know,
you get Apple.
You get Apple. You get Facebook with drones flying over your head. You know, it's just interesting. So I don't know. I mean, you know, as a tech guy, I obviously like all this stuff and welcome it, but at the same time, it's really just genuinely scary to me, because I said, like, I don't want, you know, Skynet. I don't want Arnold Schwarzenegger coming through saying, you know, come with me if you want to live, or whatever. That was my dad, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That was terrible.
Horrible. But let's shift to some video game stuff. This story about the Nintendo DS, the 3DS XL. GameStop has this cool. GameStop has this cool sort of like retro edition of the thing, which looks like. It comes in the cool like old school Nintendo packaging, and the actual 3D XL is like an old school Nintendo controller.
RCA inputs.
Yeah, so it's all dope. But here, I'm gonna bring in Alexis, who's our resident.
I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy
I know you
it.
are, but before that, 'cause she's our resident like sort of Nintendo girl and video game person. Like I said, I've never played Nintendo products in my life. So tell me, just once and for all, please, Alexis, explain to me about this 3DS XL, because I don't understand it at all. I really don't.
Well, what do you mean? Like, it's pretty much okay. See, in my brain, I see it as they're just trying to make it just like how like Samsung phones and iPhones are supposed to be bigger. That's pretty much what the 3DS XL is, at least to me.
Okay.
It's just a bigger version of it.
Okay.
That's it.
And so, what do you just you carry it around like a I mean,
it's large. I mean, I've shown you the PS Vita, right?
Yeah, the Vita.
It's about a little bit bigger than that.
Okay.
So it's pretty much just a bigger screen, so you can do more things. I think the processor might be bigger. I'm not quite sure.
So
details.
Do you put that in your purse? What do you put the giant big ass 3D XL? You just carry it around?
I do.
Okay.
So for the price point for this joint, it's like $200.
Yeah,
like, why not just buy a game on your Samsung device or on your iPhone? Like,
why not buy a console?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the only reason I'm buying it is for the nostalgia, because I did have this system when I was growing up. So for me, this is something else. It's just memories, because my mom had to get rid of it. So I'm buying it back. But I know a lot of people prefer it just because. Pardon me, just because it's just like how it was with the PSP went into the PS Vita. It's just a larger screen, and it has the graphics card is supposed to be
much
a little better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's the techie stuff of that. I don't personally know just yet, but I know that it's supposed to be better, just like PS3 to PS4.
You seem to be a Nintendo loyalist.
I kind of am, just a little bit.
Well, Nintendo seems to skew female though. Hey. I know our Lola here is a Nintendo gal. So wow. I mean, I don't know. Where did your Nintendo loyalty come from, Alexis?
Childhood. I only had like a Nintendo 64 until I was, I think, 10 or 12, and then I eventually was like, okay, I'm gonna try using. I mean, I had a PlayStation also, but for some odd reason, I always wanted to play on Nintendo 64, like Mario Party and Mario Kart and kind of more group-friendly games. And then eventually, I stopped, and I was like, oh, I kind of miss playing just regular games on a nicer console. So I ended up buying an Xbox 360, and then I got a PS3, and now I have a PS4. So. And
now you're about to have the Nintendo 3DS.
Yep, pretty much.
and last but not least, you're out on Microsoft and Sega and all those. Well, Sega's gone, but
well,
Microsoft,
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, Sega's gone now.
No, it still lives in my heart, Alexis.
Well, yeah, same here. I wasn't. It was very strange. My mom didn't really. She always thought it was like a knockoff of something, so she never bought it. So I've never played on a Sega.
A knockoff?
Yeah, that's what I said. I know, it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Right.
She was mostly going with the hype of whatever was out at the time.
Okay. So all right. Well, good. Well, that's good to hear. Let me know. Hey, while I have you here, because we didn't put this in the rundown, but I want to talk about it. Did you get Destiny for?
I did. Okay. I have not. This is the most I've left my house right now.
Okay. Because we'll just mention this real quick. So Destiny, which was Bungie's long awaited video game, their first game since Halo, since they completed the Halo franchise. Now Halo for me just completely changed my life. Halo,
without question.
When Halo dropped, it was the best video game I've ever, best experience I've had,
without question.
And so and I never really looked back. And all the subsequent Halos, I played them. All my boys play. I mean, I remember back in the day. 10 years ago we were playing.
For sure.
Did you like the newer ones that came out?
I did. I played. Well, I mean, I didn't hate them. I just look. I like the storylines on some Halo. Let me play. Halo 2 was okay. I didn't like Halo 3.
I didn't like Halo 3 either.
But the Halo what was the acronym? I forgot the one. It was like the
crap, I can't remember.
But anyway, I like that one actually, and I like the last one too. Even though whatchamacallit, even though Bungie didn't do it. I did like the online play, which was still amazing. Me and my friends still played. We played like crazy. Like last year, we played like crazy. So anyway, Destiny is Bungie's first offering. It's like, I think it's like a $400 million game or something like that.
$500 million the first day.
Well, no, I'm talking about what they spent on the game.
Oh, to make the game.
I think it was like $250 million.
Gotcha.
I mean, bigger, more like as much as a major blockbuster movie would cost to develop a video game. And they do what they do best, which is world building this gigantic world, this gigantic mythology behind it. Something that, like Halo, will probably spawn movies and spin-offs and TV shows and everything else, hopefully. And it's just all this hype, and it's finally been delivered to us on both platforms, on PS4 as well as Xbox. And I have, of all people, did not purchase it yet because I still don't have an Xbox One, and I don't want to buy it on the 360, and I want to get Xbox One, and I'm just like going nuts. So after all of that, and like you said, Akili, $500 million in the first day, $500 million on the first day. This is where video games are killing movies. Day one, like you just drop a video game, but you're gonna be able to spend like $500 million on a video game because you may drop it and may make $1 billion. In 2 years, video games make $1 billion in the first day. Anyway, I digress. Alexis,
Yes.
how is the game?
Oh, it's fantastic. I literally haven't. I went back to like my teen years of just having like Doritos Mountain Dew and just like sitting in my gaming chair and not moving.
Wow. Did you say gaming chair?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay. you're keeping it 100.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that. That's a whole different. That's a whole different thing.
All right. So could you take me through a little bit? Is it like? I mean, my first thing is it like Halo or what's
okay?
And do you play story mode or do you play online? What do you do?
I play mostly online.
Okay.
I haven't even gotten through the story, but I play online. It's mostly just it reminds me of Halo a lot, which is one of my favorite games, and it's really hard to explain right now because I'm trying to think because there's so much in the game that it's in my brain it reminds me a lot of like Skyrim and like the world and how you can pretty much do whatever you want, and then Halo kind of put together.
Well, what I've been hearing is a lot of like World of Warcraft people like are saying that it's a lot. It's very similar to the world. Maybe it's another better example because Skyrim's a console.
I didn't know if you guys are big MMO fans, isn't like World of Warcraft and Diablo. Yeah, that's why I picked Skyrim as an example.
but if you, I'm just not. I'm not a PC gamer at all. But when World of Warcraft, people love that and sort of feel like this is an answer to that. This sort of has that PC gamer World of Warcraft feel in that you can walk around and build your guys and build your characters and interact with other characters in the world in sort of an open world. Yeah, is that?
It's pretty much. It's literally just a first-person shooter MMO game. That's literally what it is.
Super cool.
And then now, can you pick like Halo? Can you pick like capture the flag and do battles and do like?
I haven't really explored that much.
You're just walking around like interacting with people.
All my friends get on and we just literally just go around interacting and killing things.
Wow! So you guys just walk around and there's no cross platform, right? So I can't play with you on my Xbox One.
I don't think so. I'm not that one. I don't know about.
Okay.
I haven't tried that yet.
Well, I'm very interested, and this is the last.
It's really fun.
No, I'm gonna get it. For sure I'm gonna get it. But it's just in my life. I know when new video games come out, usually about this time of year, and there's 3 right now. I need Call of Duties are coming out. Madden's out right now.
I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty as much as Halo. I mean, I still play it, but it's not my go-to. Like I did Black Ops and I did Modern Warfare 2, but anything after that I wasn't really.
I love the Modern Warfare series. I like the Treyarch, the Activision series better than I do the other what's the other company? I can't remember. But anyway, I don't like the Black Ops versions. I like the other versions. Anyway, this time of year there's like 4 video games that are out right now. It's gonna happen and I'm gonna be locked in locked in the house from now to January, and that can't happen because I got too many things to do. Well, thanks, Alexis. I just want to get it last thing on that, just really quickly. Like the trend that I've been noticing with like the younger kids these days, is when you get these games, people don't play the story mode that much. People just get right online. Like, and I'm the guy who I want to play story mode. I want to play the campaign.
No, to be honest, I'm the first person that's like, okay, I'm gonna do story mode first and then get on. But this was more like when I went to the midnight release, I went with like a whole bunch of friends. We all got the game and we all sat there.
Keeping
and
it real.
Yeah, and then we all sat there and that's what we did for the past like 3 days.
Okay,
So.
cool.
I mean, my only take on that, like the story mode stuff, is where all the creativity's at.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
you know, all the writing, all that stuff. Like
That's what I love.
Like that's the cool stuff.
Yeah, so anytime I get any type of game, it doesn't matter what it is, whether if it has an online mode or if it has story mode, I always play story mode first. But this was the first time that I was like, nope, I'm gonna play online because we all have the game and kind of stuff like that. And I play with some of my cousins who are in the Philippines now that play.
Wow,
So that's nice.
so that's fun. All right, well, cool. Well, I'm about to make my triumphant return to video games here within the next 3 weeks, and it's gonna kill everything. But
Let me know how that goes, bruh.
I will be.
I'm gonna be working.
You won't see me. You won't see me.
Are you gonna get the? I'm sorry to take you guys off track,
That's all right.
but the Dragon Age Inquisition. I don't know if you guys are even.
I'm not. You know what?
into
I'm not into the dragon. That's the thing.
No.
Why? You know, I'm not really into the. Well, yeah, that's a whole separate thing for me. I was never into the Dragon Age
I won't
games.
start that.
So let's not start those. But no, Madden's, Call of Duty's,
Madden is very good.
the Halo pack, and that just came out, the anniversary Halo pack.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The Forza, I had to go back and get that. And of course, Destiny. That'll keep me busy. That'll keep me busy for like 5 months, and that's like
Maybe 3.
okay, maybe
Maybe
3.
three.
All right,
I
I'll
got
take
the
it.
new Premiere.
Did you get it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this is a joke.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I got the new Photoshop
The
too.
new Photoshop. Okay, so real quick, let's get out these last quick stories. Minecraft, another thing I don't do or play. Alexis, you a Minecraft person?
I haven't played in a really, really long time, but I know I just got all my friends to start.
Okay.
And they're hating me for it.
My friend Drew is who's 50 is this crazy Minecraft guy. He's created this amazing Minecraft roller coaster, which was big for a while, a couple years ago. And I don't have that, but don't even have the link for you right now. But it's an amazing Minecraft coaster, and I'll get that. But anyway, Minecraft creator Marcus Persson is become a billionaire. So with his deal with Microsoft, so
Two B's.
not unlike Dr. Dre, he's now a billionaire thanks to a partnership with large.
It's crazy, man. People are throwing out billions like it's nothing.
I know, just
Like 5 years ago, a billionaire was a big deal.
yeah, like can I get a B?
Man, now it's like, 2 billion, nothing.
Is it weird that I thought that he was already a billionaire before this?
No, I mean a billionaire is a lot. That's
No, maybe I thought. Okay, maybe you're right.
I mean, if dude was had like Jay-Z's not a billionaire. Like this
That's
is
true. I didn't think
if
about
this
that.
dude has $500 million on Minecraft, he's killing it already.
Man.
But to be a billionaire off one, like he may create 10 more games in his lifetime. It's
crazy.
So whatever, good for him. And just Minecraft is just an industry in and of itself that that spawned all kinds of like merchandise and all kinds of side things and like so it's really interesting. I never really got into it, probably never will.
It's such a weird game because to me
it's so lo-fi too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like it, but I didn't realize how complex it was until you start playing it.
Yeah, but the idea of building stuff and building worlds
That's
is
tight.
cool.
Yeah,
and
that's
then people are
super tight.
really into building worlds and building vast worlds that are connected to stuff, even if it's all in lo-fi and like 8-bit looking things.
Right.
Last but not least, one comic book story of note. Superman #1 got
crazy story
sold
right here.
for $3.2 million for one comic. And I'm a comic book guy. I had this comic, not the original, but I had for a long time. I had a copy of it. When I was a kid, I read it a bajillion times. I'm very familiar with it. Superman #1, or Action Comics #1 rather, or Action Comics featuring Superman. What do you think of this story?
I mean, just the evaluation.
3.2.
The evaluation. You know what I'm saying? 3.2 for something that sold for 30 cents when it first came out.
Yeah, true.
Like I think was it in the 30s?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the 30s.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like just I think there's only like 50 original ones left.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing. Pop culture geek story. Like it's dope just to have this piece of history. It's almost like an artifact. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Superman's a worldwide icon at this point. He's an American icon. He's a Jewish icon in a lot of ways because the creators are Jewish, and he's and the more time that passes, the more valuable this gets, and the older this gets, and Superman is he's Superman. So
Did they say who bought it?
yeah, it was me.
Okay, I thought
I just dropped the quick 3.2.
Beware,
No,
I might gotta,
actually,
take it from you.
the
Shake,
buyer,
shake.
the buyer wanted to remain anonymous.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
mentioned before, like he wants to keep his secret identity like a superhero. So we'll leave it on that note. That's all we got for this week. We got a lot in.
It's tight, man.
Akili, where can we find you?
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Akili Shine. What about you, bruh? Where you at?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Joe K. Braswell, and coming up on our sister station AfterBuzz, we're starting with the Blacklist again, and we got some other stuff coming up as well. Alexis, what about you? Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at atorres890.
Fantastic.
Or Koopa Cake 890.
Who? Hookah what?
Koopa Cake. It's a Moogle from Final Fantasy. He says Koopa. So
A Moogle?
yeah.
Koopa Moogle? What is happening?
I'll just stop.
To our podcast. Okay.
I'm just gonna.
All right.
stop.
We'll see you next week.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.